will be led by Councilmember Mansour.
All right. Almighty and gracious Creator, we come before you with humble hearts and open minds, recognizing the weight of the responsibilities that rest upon us as the stewards of the city. We seek your guidance, wisdom, and strength. Grant us the insight to make decisions that promote the well-being of all our residents, uphold justice, and foster unity within our community. May our discussions be characterized by respect, empathy, and a commitment to the common good. We also remember those who serve our city, our first responders, watch over them and keep them safe. Guide us in our deliberations, and may the decisions we make here today be for the greater good and in accordance with your will. We offer this prayer in your name, trusting that you will light our path in the service of this city and its people. Amen.
Let's turn to the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Mansour.
Present.
Councilmember Jones.
Present.
Councilmember Perry.
Present.
Councilmember Reesner.
Present.
Councilmember Spar.
Here.
Councilmember Thacker.
Here.
And Councilmember Wilkins.
Here. Let the record show all 7 members of council are present. Petitions. We do have one petition this evening, petition number 2023-04 from Jeffrey Michael and Beth Souter to vacate an alley in the 3rd Ward running east and west between lots 3 and 4 of Letterhose subdivision on the north and lot number 17 of Hemmings resurvey on the south. This petition will be assigned to the Street Sidewalks and Sewers Committee. Minutes from September 5th, 2023, regular and committee of the whole were distributed. There was one correction on the minutes that was distributed. Any questions, additional corrections, or deletions? Yes, Councilmember Jones.
Thank you. Could we verbally share the change for the community's benefit?
Sure.
I didn't
Clerk, would you mind?
follow up on it myself and maybe for my benefit. I know it was on page 4052. That's as far as I got.
Right here. Yes, it's regarding, it was regarding the mayor's attending the Tree Academy. It was for 2 days, not 3 days. And she also, I corrected it to say that as part of her homework, she helped select the types of trees for the 49 being planted by our arborists in the 1st Ward.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then the other one, I put the wrong date on the trick or treat Sunday. I had Sunday the 22nd, it's the 29th.
Thank you. Any other questions? The minutes will stand approved as presented. We are now under committee reports. Finance Committee, Councilmember Reesner.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Law and Community Planning, Councilmember Mansour.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Materials and Equipment, Councilmember Jones.
No report at this time, Madam President.
Thank you. Personnel and Labor Relations, Councilmember Perry.
No report, Madam President.
Recreation and Public Property, Councilmember Wilkins.
No report, Madam President.
Street Sidewalks and Sewers, Councilmember Thacker.
Thank you. I do have a report. A Street Sidewalks and Sewers Committee meeting was held on September 11th, 2023 at 5:15 p.m. in council chambers. Attending were committee members Cheyenne Thacker, Daniel Perry, and Chris Mansour, along with Law Director Brent Howard, Mayor Dawn Iannantuono, City Administrator Nick Dutro, City Engineer Matt Watson, and member of the public, Ollie Perry. Thacker called the meeting to order. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss Mayor's request for legislation 23-38. Watson gave the committee information regarding the reconstruction of Sandusky Street between Hall and Tome through the ODOT Small City Program. This project is estimated to cost $1.6 million approximately, with 95% of the project being reimbursed through the city through the aforesaid ODOT program. Additionally, Watson's been working on other grants through ODOT to improve safety at Sixes Corners intersection. Mansour motioned to have the law director prepare legislation to authorize the mayor to accept funding from ODOT Small City Program. Perry seconded the motion. The motion passed 3-0. Howard gave an update on the Heidelberg project for street and alley vacations. The city will have temporary easement for use of the vacated alleys and street until construction begins. With no further business, the committee adjourned at 5:43 p.m.
Thank you. Any questions? All right. Economic Development and Downtown Planning, Councilmember Spar.
No report at this time, Madam President.
Thank you. Does anyone see the need to schedule a committee of the whole meeting? All right. We are now under reports of the officers. Her Honor, Mayor Dawn Iannantuono.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, everyone. I have a proclamation tonight for a very special young man that was supposed to be here with us this evening, but he's not feeling well. And so honoring him and others that share his challenge. And Mr. Griffin never ceases to touch my heart and amuse me with his antics as he tackles each day. And so this is for Mr. Griffin and others like him. Whereas Deaf Awareness Month started in 1958 with the focus on improving human rights of deaf persons, expanding the instruction of national sign languages, access to education, access to information technology and services, and whereas International Week of Deaf People 2023 is celebrated September 18th through the 24th with the theme Building Inclusive Communities for All. And whereas the deaf population includes individuals born profoundly deaf, who use American Sign Language, ASL, as a primary means of communication and includes people with a range of hearing loss who use hearing aids, assistive listening devices, or other forms of amplifications and communication modes. And whereas, according to research across all age groups, approximately 600,000 people in the United States are deaf, and more than half of those are over 65 years of age. And whereas, according to Deaf Services Center, about 10% of Ohio's general population experiences hearing loss or is deaf, equating to 1.1 million Ohioans. And whereas it is important to ensure that people who are deaf have equal access to the many benefits and opportunities available in our community. And whereas people who identify themselves as deaf belong to a cultural and linguistic community with shared language, social norms, rules of behavior, and history, this made our driving zeal for deaf community grow. Therefore, be it resolved, I, Dawn M. Iannantuono, Mayor of the City of Tiffin, do hereby proclaim September 2023 in the City of Tiffin as Deaf Awareness Month on this 18th day of September in the year of our Lord, 2023. So, Mr. Griffin, this is for you, and I hope you'll feel better, little bud. He's my little pal. I'm missing him. I was looking forward to seeing him tonight. So other items of interest, Safety Week was another huge success. We had over 137 parents and grandparents volunteer to help. Thank you, Tiffin City Schools, for your help with busing and location again this year. Also to the Lincoln Pre-K staff for putting up with us taking over their building for an entire week. It does get a little hectic there. Also a shout out to Heidelberg University's women's basketball team and their assistant coach, and Heidelberg University's men's wrestling team and their coach for all of their help with setup and tear down. What used to take 4 to 5 hours was knocked down to under 2 hours. They are a tremendous help and greatly appreciated. I also want to thank the leadership class at Columbian for their help Tuesday afternoon and Friday afternoon. The kids actually came in and worked with the students. They also stayed on Friday to help tear down before the wrestlers even got there. So we were done and put away before 3 o'clock, and it ends at 2:15. So it was a big help. The 2023 Main Street Summit and Downtown Celebration was last Thursday, September 14th, from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Chandelier. It was a very nice event. They shared downtown updates and honored Summit Award recipients. The 44th Annual Heritage Festival went very well on Friday, the 15th through the 17th. It was located on Frost Parkway and Jefferson Street this year. It seemed to go very well. The parade was huge, another big success, over 77 items, I think. Also, wanted to mention Officer Liz Miller is in Pennsylvania with her dog, and will be training with the canine for the next 6 to 7 weeks, and we do have a name. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to share it, but his name's Zeke. And I also wanted to wish happy birthday to Councilmember Jones this evening.
Well, thank you.
And so for upcoming events, third Thursday is the 21st with the hugely popular downtown pizza party from 5:30 to 8:30. On the 28th, I will be attending a training session on breaking the stigma for addiction and mental health issues. They have a lot of them through the Family and Children First Council, and I do like going to those and becoming more informed on what people need in our community. Also a reminder that Destination Seneca County is hosting the Halloween parade on Saturday, October 21st. It will be downtown, kicking off at 10 a.m. Tiffin's Trick or Treat will be Sunday afternoon on October 29th from 3 to 5 p.m. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for the mayor? All right, thank you, Mayor. Clerk of Council Ann Forrest.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Director of Finance Kathy Kaufman.
Thank you, Madam President. I do have a report tonight. I have the financial report for August 2023. Total receipts for the month were $5,466,534.73. Total expenses for the month were $4,205,701.69. The general fund unencumbered balance was $5,551,456.47. Income tax receipts for August 2023 were $889,006.59. This is a total annual decrease when comparing August 2023 to August 2022 of $8,785.95. Year-to-date income tax receipts are down 1.1%. The 0.25% portion of income tax receipts that was transferred into Fund 215 for public streets for August was $110,404.76. In August, the city received the second half of the real estate tax revenue check from the county. The amount deposited into general fund was $397,874.53. And then on Monday, September 11th, sewer revenue was certifying invoices more than 90 days past due to the county auditor. Last day for customers to pay on those invoices was August 31st. Total assessments for sewer was $420,395.90. And in addition, on September 11th, we also turned in mowing and sidewalk assessments to the county. The unexpended balance for all funds is $38,869,681.95, which is the same as the bank balances for the same time period. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilmember Reesner.
I move to accept the Finance Director's report and bank reconciliation month ending August 31st, 2023.
Thank you. There's a motion to accept the Finance Director's report and bank recon for the month of August. Is there a second? Councilmember Mansour.
I'll second.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Councilmember Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want the City Tiffin and Nova City Council looks over these financial reports before we approve them. And I was looking through the 90-some pages, and a couple items jumped out. I forget whether they're cash checks or uncashed checks, but it's the same question. It was American Structure Point Incorporated. 728 was $32,662.50. Another check on August 31st of 23, same American Structure Point Incorporated, $29,639.50. I'm sure this came up before, but not comprehending it here. So was this Ella Street Bridge, or was this sewer project, wastewater pretreatment, or what was that associated to?
Illustrate.
City Administrator.
Thank you. Yes, they're our contractor for the Ella Street Bridge project. Or, I'm sorry, not contractor, but our consultant for the Ella Street Bridge project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Director of Law, Brent T. Howard.
Yes, thank you. 3 items. The first item is regarding Ordinance 23-59. That's the ordinance that enacts Chapter 725, establishing a registration for contractors. You had a discussion at the committee, the whole meeting tonight, and just to summarize it for you, me, and the public, I will make changes to this ordinance. I understand you're going to read it for the second time this evening, but before the third reading at the next meeting, you'll have a red line showing the changes, proposed changes by amendment, and they are to define a person as not including a minor. So a person that is required for registration will be a person who is 18 years of age or older. I will also remove the renewal fee from the legislation, but I will add that if there is a lapse, there will be, to re-register, there'll be a $25 fee. And so that'll be included. So I'll have red line changes. They'll be in your packet for the next meeting. If everything is acceptable, you could amend that ordinance before passage at the next meeting.
Thank you.
The next item, 23-60, is an ordinance for vacating a portion of Walker Street and 2 adjacent alleys, that ordinance needs a public hearing prior to passage. So either at the next meeting, when it will be read by, for a second time, or for third reading, there needs to be a public hearing at the beginning of that meeting. So either evening, you could schedule that.
Okay.
Then the last item I have, and I mentioned this during the committee of the whole, it's time to investigate on the operation of the golf cart ordinance. As you know, when you passed it earlier this year, it expires at the end of this calendar year, and if you wish to renew it for some time period or indefinitely, then the legislation needs to be presented this fall. You do need to, I would suggest, talk to the chief of police so he can tell you about his experience with the legislation, allow for the public to also weigh in on any comments that they may have. And then I would suggest that this legislation should be read at 3 separate regular meetings. It can go into effect as an emergency in less than 30 days, just like I think you did for the original legislation. But time's going to move fast here in the next 3 months, so that should be considered by council. Any questions about any of those items or anything else for me?
Just one for me on the public hearing. So just remind me procedurally, that could take place, for example, if we were to have that scheduled for the October 2nd meeting.
That is correct.
Okay, and then that can take place at the beginning of that meeting?
Yes.
Yep.
And you just would announce that public hearing this evening. You
Okay.
could at any point during the meeting, and then it would be part of the agenda immediately following, say, roll call.
Okay. I will do that. Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions for the law director? The topic of the golf cart ordinance or pilot, I guess we'll call it, will be referred to the Street Sidewalks and Sewers Committee, the scheduled meeting. Anyone else? Yes, Councilmember Jones.
I just have an update on the golf cart situation. I believe it was last week I asked Chief Pauly how many people have signed up for licenses, and he said 35. That was a week ago. And I shared with him that's much greater than what I thought. I was thinking 6 or 8 myself, but he said that's a combination of golf carts and slow-moving vehicles, but still 35 as of last week. More popular than I thought it was going to be. Just an update.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, Councilmember Perry.
Just I guess, recommendation or asking about something. Instead of giving it to street, sidewalk, sewers, could we give it to law and community planning, since I think we'll have time at the meeting before to talk about it?
We can, it's just, I mean, it wasn't assigned to that committee before, so I don't know, is that?
Wasn't it? I thought it was.
No, it was assigned to Street, Sidewalks, and
I
Sewers.
thought originally it was that one.
It was when I was
Yeah, when
there.
we were.
Yes, this was assigned to Sidewalks and Sewers Committee before, so I think it's probably more appropriate to remain in that committee,
Okay,
unfortunately, sorry.
that's right.
We need to arm wrestle over this or not?
I think you might win.
Who, me? Oh, okay. Did you have a question?
No, I was just responding.
Got it. Okay, thank you. We are now under written communications.
We have Mayor's request for legislation number 23-39, abrogation of deed restrictions for private sale of land.
Mayor's request for legislation number 23-39 will be assigned to the Recreation and Public Property Committee.
Mayor's request for legislation number 23-40, removal of provisional statement in distress merchandise sale legislation.
Mayor's request for legislation number 23-40 will be assigned to the Law and Community Planning Committee.
And Finance Director's request for legislation number F23-29 to amend the 2023 Budget Ordinance 22-108 to appropriate funds into the Fire Department budget.
Finance Director's request for legislation number F23-29 is prepared tonight as ordinance 23-62.
And that concludes the written communications.
Thank you. We are now under oral communications. Anyone wishing to address council may step to the podium, sign in, and direct their questions to myself. Okay, all right. We are now under motions. Are there any motions this evening? Okay, we are now under resolutions and ordinances.
Resolution number 23-27, introduced by Kevin Reesner. Resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This is the third reading of Resolution 23-27. Councilmember Reesner.
I move for passage of Resolution 23-27.
Thank you. There is a motion for passage of Resolution 23-27. Is there a second? Councilmember Wilkins.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. There is a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, we will first vote on the emergency.
Councilmember Mansour.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. We'll now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Mansour.
Yes.
Perry.
Yep.
Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Resolution 23-27 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 23-54, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. Ordinance amending sections 907.07D and E of Tiffin Codified Ordinances, increasing the annual percentage increase in sewer rates to 5%.
Thank you. This is the third reading of Ordinance 23-54. Councilmember Thacker.
I'll move for passage of ordinance 23-54.
Thank you. There's a motion for passage of Ordinance 23-54. Is there a second? Councilmember Mansour.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, we will vote on the passage.
Councilmember Mansour.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Ordinance 23-54 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 23-57, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. Ordinance authorizing installment of one street light on 3rd Avenue between Shawn Avenue and Wall Street and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This is the second reading of Ordinance 23-57.
Ordinance number 23-58, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. Ordinance authorizing installment of one street light on Water Street at or near the Viaduct Bridge and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This is the second reading of Ordinance 23-58.
Ordinance number 23-59, introduced by Kevin Reesner. Ordinance enacting Chapter 725 of the Tiffin Codified Ordinances, establishing the registration of contractors working in the city.
Thank you. This is the second reading of Ordinance 23-59.
Ordinance number 23-60, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. Ordinance responding to petitions number 2023-01, 2023-02, and 2023-03, vacating a portion of Walker Street and adjacent and nearby alleys in the 1st and 4th wards of the city of Tiffin, Ohio.
Thank you. This is the first reading of Ordinance 23-60.
Ordinance number 23-61, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. Ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to accept funding through the Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, Small City Program for the North Sandusky Street Roadway Reconstruction Project, approve project requirements, authorize the mayor to enter into a contract for the project funding, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This is the first reading of Ordinance 23-61. Councilmember Thacker.
I move for immediate passage of ordinance 23-61, suspending council's 3-reading rule.
Thank you. There is a motion to suspend council's 3-reading rule and immediate passage of Ordinance 23-61. Is there a second? Councilmember Perry.
Yeah, second, Madam President.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Mansour.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. We'll now vote on the emergency.
Councilmember Mansour.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Wilkins.
Yes.
And Jones.
Yes.
Emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. We'll now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Mansour.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Reesner.
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Thacker?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
And Jones?
Yes.
Ordinance 23-61 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 23-62, introduced by Kevin Reesner, ordinance amending 2023 budget ordinance 22-108 to appropriate a total of $70,000 into the fire department budget to cover wages and overtime expenses for the remainder of the year.
Thank you. This is the first reading of ordinance 23-62. Councilmember Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspending the City Council's three-reading rule and the immediate passage of ordinance 23-62.
Thank you. There is a motion for suspension of council's three-reading rule and passage of ordinance 23-62. Is there a second? Councilmember Mansour.
I'll second.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Councilmember Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. Councilmember Perry brought it up in our committee of the whole meeting. $70,000 just sounds like a large number at this time. Could someone explain the reasoning behind that for the public's benefit?
Yeah, so the finance director responded that there was a retirement that they didn't account for in the budget.
Yeah.
And then additionally, was there something else? Oh, just
Yeah,
overtime?
There were several employees that have been on extended leave.
Thank you.
So fire chief has had to call people in to cover those shifts, which has caused an increase in the overtime.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Any other discussion? All right, we will first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Mansour?
Yes.
Perry?
Yes.
Reesner?
Yes.
Spar?
Yes.
Thacker?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
And Jones?
Yes.
Suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. We'll now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Mansour?
Yes.
Perry?
Yes.
Reesner?
Yes.
Spar?
Yes.
Thacker?
Yes.
Wilkins?
Yes.
And Jones?
Yes.
Ordinance 23-62 passes with a vote of 7-0.
That concludes the legislation.
Thank you. We are now under other business. At this time, I'd like to announce a public hearing to take place on October 2nd regarding ordinance 23-60, which will immediately follow roll call. Is there any other business this evening? I think we have some committee announcements, right? Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to call a meeting of the Law and Planning Committee for Monday, the 25th at 4 p.m. to discuss mayor's request for legislation 2340, renewal of provisional statement and distress merchandise sale legislation.
Thank you.
And
Any other business we might have. It's only my second one, so.
You did fine. Councilmember Wilkins.
Then I would like to call a recreation and public property meeting to address mayor's request for legislation 23-39 immediately following that meeting, and any other business that comes before us.
Thank you. And Councilmember Thacker.
I'd like to announce a street sidewalk sewers meeting on that same evening at 5:30 p.m. It is going to be at the location of the street vacation. I have lots 3 and 4 of Letter Ho subdivision on the north side and lot 17 of Hemmings resurvey on the south side
Thank you.
off of St. Clair Street.
And any other business?
And any other business that comes before our committee.
Is there any other business this evening to come before council? Councilmember Perry.
I don't want everybody to cry at once, but I will be gone next council meeting. I'll be in Florida, so.
Oh, no.
Hey, come on, just hold it in until after the meeting. Be fine.
Shoot.
Me and you are gonna fight after this.
Promise. Sorry, go ahead.
Did we do oral communications?
Yes,
Is that, okay. I must have been reading.
that's okay. Councilmember Jones.
Thank you, Madam President.
Only 'cause
One
it's-
minor thing, I need to apologize to my fellow members of the Street Sidewalk and Sewer Committee. I know we had that meeting on September 21st at 5:15.
11th.
I completely missed it, and I don't know if I can go back and see what transpired or not, but it should not happen again.
Thank you.
Ollie sat in your place.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other business to come before council? Okay, thank you, guys. Adjourn.